He's Mike Florio. You can see him every weekday night at 5:30 Eastern on NBCSN, Pro Football Talk. He runs the website profootballtalk.com. All right, help me understand here from the commissioner's point of view why Adrian Peterson is done for the rest of the year.
Well, because I think all along, Dan, they didn't want him back this year, and they believed that with a December 1 trial day, they'd be able to kick the can just a few weeks and ensure that he doesn't play in 2014, that it's not an issue for 2014, it's an issue for 2015. They were caught, I believe, completely unaware when Adrian Peterson pleaded no contest to misdemeanor charges, and then they decided we have to come up with a way to keep him on the sidelines for the rest of the year, which contributes to this perception/reality that they are just making it up as they go along to reach a predetermined result. No Adrian Peterson in 2014, and we're going to do whatever we have to do to get to the point where Adrian doesn't play this year.
If you were representing Adrian Peterson, how would you appeal this?
Well, I mean, obviously you file the appeal and you go through the process, and one of the arguments that apparently is going to be made, and this is very nonchalant in the NFL Players Association statement that was released, they claim that an unnamed NFL executive told Adrian Peterson that the games he missed while suspended with pay will be treated as time served. Now, the NFL's position is, well, you got paid, so it's no big deal. Well, yeah, he wants to play. He's chasing Emmitt Smith. He wants to be competitive. I mean, he's a football player, not a guy who just sits around collecting checks. So that's going to be a big issue in this. Who made that promise? What kind of evidence do they have of that? Depending upon the strength of that evidence, that could be the centerpiece of the appeal under the personal conduct policy, and it could create further mayhem for the league office at a time when the impression is they really don't know what they're doing between Ray Rice and Adrian Peterson. So that's a key piece of evidence I'd really want to develop. That could be the main focal point of this internal appeal. And I would also explore all potential legal options. We've seen players in the past force their way back onto the field when they were faced with a suspension. A couple of Vikings players did it a few years ago. I would at least explore fully and completely what options I have through the court system if I want to get back on the field in 2014.
But, Mike, what was he suspended for the last 10 weeks?
He wasn't suspended. He was placed on the commissioner's exempt list with pay. And
but he couldn't play.
That's their attitude.
But he couldn't play.
Right, you're exactly right. And see, here's what happened. After this all came to a head, when the Vikings welcomed him back after a one-game deactivation and everybody went crazy, you can't just welcome him back, the league and the team didn't know what to do. So they worked out this deal that, okay, while these charges are pending, and inexplicably they hadn't stopped to think, what are we going to do in the future with domestic violence, child abuse cases between the time the guy's arrested and the time the guy goes to trial? It's like it never hit the radar screen until Peterson happened. So they came up with this, we're going to put you on the commissioner's exempt list, and we're going to pay you, and there was never any discussion, any consideration as to what that time missed would do. And now Greg Hardy is going to have this same issue down the line at some point. They've got to figure this out. And because this is the danger of just saying, hey, we've got a problem, let's come up with the easiest way to solve it. Because then you create more problems down the line, and that's exactly where they are right now.
Talking to Mike Florio from profootballtalk.com. Can you defend Adrian Peterson without somehow by proxy defending a child abuser?
I think you can, because think back to the NFL's position in the aftermath of the initial Ray Rice suspension. What were they all saying? Adolfo Birch making the rounds saying, well, look, the court system saw that this was an appropriate outcome. Who are we to second-guess the court system? Well, they're sure second-guessing the court system now, aren't they? And they ignore the fact that Adrian Peterson initially was not indicted. The grand jury said, we're not going to do it. The Ray Rice video comes out by the end of the week. Adrian Peterson is indicted. So there's now, they've done a complete 180 from deferring entirely to the criminal justice system to disregarding entirely the criminal justice system.
Before I let you go, this Washington story is fluid and flammable. I'm absolutely shocked. Maybe I shouldn't be because it's Washington. Everybody needs to shut their mouths. That's the problem with the Redskins right now.
Well, and for Coach Jay Gruden to come out and say what he said yesterday, criticizing Robert Griffin III, not just for the comments he made after the game Sunday, but how he played in the game. And we know how sensitive RG3 is. Was Gruden acting on his own, or did he get a nod of approval from GM Bruce Allen or owner Daniel Snyder? That could be the other drama that plays out here. And maybe Gruden's decided, you know what, just get me out of here. Pay me for the next 2 years. I'll go sit next to my brother in the broadcast booth, just anywhere but here. Let's go. I'm ready to pack up and move.
Thank you, Mike. I know you got a busy day.
See you, pal.
Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk. You can watch him tonight at NBCSN at 5:30 Eastern.